What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Cleveland Pulse YouTube channel. I am your host, Justin Harold, and with me, as always, my excellent co-host, Jeff Santa. Before I get into today's episode video, I want to take a little bit of time to give Jeff some praise. I don't do this too often, but I try to let him know that I appreciate his efforts. I've been out for the past week in terms of dealing with cold/flu symptoms, so you can mark me down as questionable for the game Sunday, but I'll be there. But I really wanted to make a point in effort to give Jeff his credit. He's done a lot of great things in the last week and a half in terms of getting our new addition, Logan LeDuc, on for basketball episodes and going out and doing just tweeting on our Twitter page and doing media stuff in terms of going on one of our friends channels, DF Sports. Go check that out. They did a video on Baker and his whole situation. And so I just wanted to make sure that Jeff knew how much I appreciated. He does all this stuff for the videos. And so all those awesome entrances and timestamps that you guys see are all his doing. His comments are all him. And so I wanted to let him know that I appreciate everything that he's done since we started this. So thank you, Jeff. And how are you doing?
Hey, thanks, buddy. It means a lot. And this is why we started this, because we pick up each other's slack. And if one of us is MIA, the other one's right on it, ready for the tweet, ready to make a video, on standby. So it's a team effort. I'm doing good. And it translates to the Cleveland Brownies this week. It's going to need to be a team effort, I think.
Absolutely. A week 8 matchup, our first division game against our rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so obviously we're sitting at 4-3, coming off of a little bit of a short bye week. Obviously we played Thursday night of last week. And so we've had 10 days to rest up. However, the Steelers, coming off of a bye, who are sitting at 3-3 right now. I believe that's correct. Yep. And so, yeah, like you said, a lot of guys on this injury report. We already have guys listed as out as of right now. And so, we'll just go through that right now. Denzel Ward, Donovan Peoples-Jones already listed as out for this game. Along with that, we have Jadeveon Clowney, who is listed as questionable, and Takk McKinley, who is listed as questionable, which are the big notes for us. Obviously, we would like for those two to go. And I didn't send this to you yet, Jeff, but according to well, I'll find it eventually, but More For You Cleveland says that Joe Woods expects Jadeveon Clowney to be a go. So that's good news. Hopefully, no confirmation until probably Sunday, but what are your thoughts on that injury report for us as of right now?
Definitely scary. Definitely a game where you'd like to be fully healthy, but I think the way with our luck is going, this is probably the healthiest we're going to be in probably 2 or 3 weeks. Hopefully, you're just hoping to limit injuries in game, especially with Baker's situation, especially with Nick Chubb facing, soft tissue injuries and some of our linemen still getting their feet back underneath them. But at the end of the day, you'd love to have Clowney out there. I think him and Takk both not practicing today is a little bit scary. And if all they have to do is block Miles, that makes their young and inexperienced offensive line just have so much of an easier job that we need at least 2 of those guys.
Yeah, and on the defensive side, that's where our woes come in terms of injuries as of right now. Obviously, Jadeveon and Miles have been great together, and we'd like for them to continue to wreak havoc on the Steelers and Big Ben especially. But I think a great note is that our entire offensive line is back healthy. Jack Conklin coming back from injury. Jedrick Wills having some time to rest his ankles and everything. So I think this is going to be the first time that we go into, and this is the first time that we are going into a game with all of our starters healthy. Well, not healthy, but all of our starters playing. OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, Baker Mayfield, the offensive line, tight ends. Everyone on offense is, the starters of the group. And so first time that we're going to see this in a long time, Jeff. What are your hopes and maybe expectations for that unit this weekend?
I just need some continuity in the passing game. I think I hope that the running game is there, but if I'm being honest, I think that that's going to be Mike Tomlin's defensive game plan, is to just limit the running game. They didn't do a good job against Seattle before the bye. I believe Alex Collins was a 100-yard rusher against them, and he's not a top 10, 15 back in the league. So they're definitely going to have that corrected coming out of the bye. And I think they're going to take a page out of the Arizona Cardinals defensive playbook when they came in first energy. maybe even playing some of that 6-2 defense. I don't even know if they do that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's basically just saying, let's have not 100% Baker beat us through the air. And if he does, then you tip your cap as a defense. But I would just like to see creative plays that get people open, get Jarvis Landry open, to get OBJ open. I don't want to see it. No Anthony Schwartz end around. If I see an Anthony Schwartz end around this week, I'm basically going to turn the TV off. That play should be scrapped away for at least the rest of the season, maybe if not ever. But we need some creativity.
Jeff has his no end around gimmick, and I have the no 5 wide gimmick. If I see the 5 wide gimmick with how banged up Baker is,
you're gonna see the 5 wide gimmick.
I'm gonna be so upset. But the thing that we saw with the 5 wide gimmick last week with Case was we would start out in the 5 wide and bring the running back into the backfield. Whereas when we do it with Baker, and I don't know why we do it with Baker, we spread it out. Like we start in the backfield with a running back, and then we spread them out for God knows what reason. And
gotta check out playoff highlights from last year. We played them. We ran 5 wide.
Oh goodness, the ball's just got to get out of your. And the thing is, with having Jarvis back, Jarvis is your like short to medium route guy, and so that's going to be fantastic for Baker to have back. I think it helps him, get that ball out a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But God, do I hate the 5 wide, especially with everything that's going on with Baker. But we do have a healthy O line, so unless they're bringing pressure, which again, I would bring pressure when you only have 5 guys protecting. But yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. And for them, the one big point of emphasis is Eric Ebron is out, which that's not the big point. Melvin Ingram, their linebacker / other pass rusher on the opposite side of TJ Watt, is as of right now doubtful. He was limited all week and then did not practice the final practice of their week and everything. So he's doubtful, which is, would be a great thing for us because I think that would limit their opportunity of going 6-2. But with that being said, Jeff, who on the Steelers does, really invoke fear in you on the offensive or defensive side? And who do you think is going to be a big time factor for them in terms of them, being competitive coming into First Energy?
TJ Watt for sure.
Yep.
However, we did not allow a sack in the playoff game last year, which was something I was looking at the stats last year. Very surprising that happened. I know that our offense had short fields and we were getting the ball, but I agree with you. Let's get rid of the ball quickly, especially with the Baker situation. Deontay Johnson is somebody on the offensive side of the ball that makes me nervous just because we're down Denzel Ward. I think that either one of those guys between him and Claypool, though, could really probably burn you. I think they did last year. I know Claypool did for a couple big plays in the playoffs. So if we limit the big plays and we don't, and our offensive line plays pretty good and our defensive line plays pretty good, I think we got a solid chance to defend home field, barring any setbacks, people's injuries and stuff like that. But yeah. I think the trenches are a big focal point of this matchup.
Yeah, and for me, it's Najee Harris and Pat Freiermuth. Honestly, 2 guys on the offensive side of the ball who, as of right now, our linebacking core is kind of slim. Not slim, but hasn't done great without Joke, guarding those kind of athletic tight ends and receiving backs, which I think Najee Harris is more of a receiving back than he is a running back as of right now, and has done pretty good in the passing game. So that's going to definitely be a point for me to watch, just because you can't let those running backs and tight ends be the reason that you lose a game or open up the field downfield. And so outside of that, you compare Ben Roethlisberger to the pass, and I still don't think that he's playing too well. I still think this is one of his down years, but they are on a good track as of right now in terms of the games that they've lost to, good teams, the Packers, the Bengals, who are leading the division, and the Raiders, but they're on a 2-game winning streak against the Broncos and the Seahawks. But for me, I just look at our offense being fully healthy and just not being able to see a team kind of compete with us when we're fully, and I say healthy, when we're fully staffed when we're fully staffed with our starters and everything. So I'm looking at this game as a win. I know that you and I had talked about before that you thought it was going to be a blowout win, but have since changed your thought process. Has your thought process stayed the same since we've texted, or do you still think we could have a blowout.
I honestly think we could have a blowout if they turn the ball. If we get finally one game with multiple
Yeah.
turnovers, like 2 or 3 interceptions, it's definitely going to be a blowout. If we somehow have their number and it's rolled over from the playoff game last year, I think that they're going to be a little bit hungrier than us, definitely to start the game. So I've settled on a final score of 27-17, but it's
I
like
like that.
they only have like 10 and then they score like a garbage time touchdown. I think we control the game. And I think I don't think they're going to be able to stop Nick Chubb. Really, that's my biggest point.
I think it's time for Greg Newsome to get an interception.
I agree.
I think John Johnson has gotten his interception. Greg Newsome probably taking over what you would propose as the cornerback 1 position with Denzel out. I think he's due for a big time interception, and hopefully that leads to Big Ben throwing a couple more, and maybe get us getting a fumble recovery. Don't think we're going to be as fortunate as we were in the playoffs with a snap going over the head. But with that being said, I'm gonna actually roll with Jeff's score. 27-17 sounds pretty good to what we can expect. I don't expect us to do anything outside of what we did in the Denver game with Baker returning. We could get surprised and maybe Baker throws the ball deep, but again, we haven't had much to any success with that as of right now, and especially with that injury and the brace and all that. I think we will see a very similar game to Denver, but a little bit better just because we get Nick Chubb back. So 27-17 works for me. I think I'm going to roll with that as well. Victory. And we're on to the Bengals after that. So Jeff, anything else before we call this one a quits?
Got to play your best football in the division all year long. That's what the NFL has been about forever. So I do not think we've played our best football yet, which I think we could agree on. I think a lot of people can agree on. So that's fine with me. Let's start playing our best football this week with a string of division games, coming up.
Yeah. As long as you can build off of, winning each week and improving each week, you'll have a shot against any team, and especially with the Bengals coming up after this. So with this one being done, thank you all for sticking around. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe. Make sure that you leave a like, hit the bell notification, and leave a comment. What do you guys think the outcome of this Steelers-Browns game is going to be? Division time, finally. They mean 3 times as much as any game in this league, and so hoping for your Brownies to go 5-3 by the end of this weekend. So with that being said, thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.